Vendera. I'm back for another. Hey, it's vocal coach Jaime Vendera. I probably just said that twice because now it says Air is live. I'm back for another singer spotlight with a guy that I love to death, Tommy Sherman. Tommy, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tommy's actually one of my students, which I have a lot of students who'll do one lesson or 100 lesson. I think we've done one, but we've stayed in contact. We've talked on the phone a few times. I think it's helped some a little bit.
Oh man, tons.
So I actually want to go through a bunch of questions. You're kind of familiar with the Singer Spotlight format, so we'll just start with you telling us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 44 years old. I've been singing for about 35 years, and never took it too seriously until the last probably couple of years. And I have my own business, automotive shop. Also, was hurt several years ago, about 12 years ago, and that put a kibosh on the singing for a while. But slowly got back into it, and once I talked to Jamie and found that, yeah, I can sing again. It's just going to take a little lessons and practice. Got doing that again. Have two kids. One's 16, one's 9. Great wife. Can't complain. Life's good, and just loving getting back into singing again.
Well, yeah, I love the videos you're sending me. So where are you located exactly?
I'm in McAlester, Oklahoma, which is south of Tulsa, about an hour and a half, so down in the southeast corner of Oklahoma.
And what do you, I know this because we've talked, and I know what you used to like to sing. What do you like to sing? What are you singing nowadays?
Nowadays, it's Journey, Europe, Foreigner, a lot of 80s arena rock. We even do some stuff like The Cars, fixed to work on some Survivor, just stuff that really goes over well with the crowd. Just a lot of party rock, 80s stuff.
Well, you said you've been singing for 35 years. So that means you
Mm-hmm.
started around 9 years old. How did you get started? What inspired you to want to sing at such a young age?
I think it was just seeing the people of the time that my parents listened to, like Elvis, of all people, Sean Cassidy,
Oh,
Kiss, things like that. And once I saw Kiss, though, that was it. That's when I knew that's what I want to do, is that kind of singing. So Kiss, and then it evolved into Maiden, Priest, Queensryche, and just took off from there, that kind of music.
well, that's what I noticed too. A lot of all my singers are good, but a lot of my like really great gifted singers, it's always a similar story. It always started in their youth, and there was some spark that really set it off. Where a lot of days, especially with YouTube and stuff, you see a lot of singers and they never sang a note in their life. Now they're 27 and like, I want to be a rock star, and they start, which is fine. You can start singing at any time. But I like the ones who are ingrained and they learn, and they came from our generation. They got to experience Kiss, Zeppelin, Sean Cassidy. It's
Yeah.
all good stuff. So
That's the thing, it was like in second grade we had like a little talent show, and it was a Sean Cassidy record that I sang along to, before karaoke was even karaoke. But it was third grade, if I remember right. Some of the kids in class were talking about Kiss and Van Halen, and oh, look at this magazine and all this. I didn't have the money or anything to go buy a CD or anything, so that was my whole thing. I got to see what they had, and slowly, through garage sales or whatever, picked up Kiss Alive 2 is, I think, the first album I got that really blew my mind. And it's just those little things that you catch as a kid. I don't particularly like Elvis or any of that stuff anymore, but just that showmanship that they had sort of stuck with me. It was something that, like the Beatles, their voices, their harmonies, it just grabs you and makes you, want to do that kind of thing.
well, it's funny. Elvis is how I got started, even younger, around 3 or 4. But you mentioned third grade. For me, it was Grease. I remember I lived in Alabama at the time, and just about the whole cassette, or records, which is what we called them back then. I guess we didn't have cassettes, and it was 8 tracks in the 70s, and constantly on the radio. So
Yeah, yeah.
that Star Wars was popular at that time, but Grease was just took over the airwaves, and it really had a big influence on me as well. So I know when we first contacted, we did a lesson. I'm just going to be blunt. I know you were worried. You were
Yeah,
afraid that you
yeah,
couldn't get back to doing the Maiden, and you felt like there was something going on. But you pushed through, which we'll talk about a little bit, and you got into a band.
yeah.
So I want to know about this band. I want to know the band's name.
Well, the name of the band is Empire, and they're based in Tulsa, so basically got to drive 3 hours round trip for practices and everything.
Wow.
The thing is, where I'm located at, there's a lot of musicians, but there's not a lot of bands at the level I want to go do, which is play out a lot of clubs. There's just not a scene around here for that. There's a lot of bands, but there's no clubs, or there might be a casino in town or something, but it's real limited. So if you want to take it to that next level, you got to drive there to Tulsa to do that. But we're playing all the time and loving it. So.
Well, I got to know, with the beard and all, do you do any ZZ Top?
Well, hell no. I gotta do that. It's funny. Can you do some ZZ Top, some Skinner and stuff like that? I'm like, now look, guys, just because I can't grow hair up here, I've got to grow here to have that look. I got to have something going for me.
I remember playing in the bars at 16, and I heard at the end of the night, my first gig, Freebird.
Oh yeah.
I turned to Billy Massey, one of the guitarists. I said, "What is a Freebird? What are they talking about?" And the other guitarist said, "Take him home. Teach him how to play that song."
And dude, around here it's like that. Even now, for instance, we played up near Kansas at a casino like a month ago, and people are hollering for Leonard Skinner, and then you'll hear somebody holler in the background, Slayer, and I'm like, do we look like Slayer? Like we're gonna play some Slayer after playing the Cars all night,
Well, you mentioned playing some places. You joined. How long ago did you join Empire?
I got contacted by them about the middle of February.
So it hasn't been that long.
No, it's. I wasn't really planning on getting out and playing anymore. I was playing all these years, and I would drive every weekend to Dallas actually for a first band that was really took off and did videos and TV and stuff, and that's like a 6-hour round trip. Every Friday I would leave work, go down there, rehearse and play, and get ready to gig. And did that for about 6 months. So after all the burnouts of, different people through the years wanting to be on drugs and partying, I'm like, I don't have time for that. And it just burned me out from singing. This email just popped up or message on my Facebook out of the blue, and it said, "Are you singing with anyone?" And I said, "Well, I'm, just jamming around with some friends here in town every now and then. No big deal." And they said, "Well, would you be interested in coming up and auditioning for a band?" Well, once I checked them out online, it just blew my mind because they were just such talented musicians, and they've been playing. I mean, the guitar player actually played in a country band. He was with Joe Nichols for quite a few years.
Wow.
The bass player is an older gentleman, and he's played with quite a few bands back, in his earlier years when he played. So, I mean, it's a big spread from like 40 years old to, in their late 50s, early 60s of guys, and it's just a wealth of talent there that just blew my mind.
But they're seasoned, and the cool thing I like about you telling me this is you joined this band in February, or you got to call in February, and it's only June now, and I already see that you guys are playing out quite a bit.
Oh, dude, let me tell you, it was, when I joined, I said, look, I'll never play out until it is tight and I'm comfortable with it. And so, like, 3 weeks later, no, matter of fact, it was about, 3 weeks later, we get a call, "Hey, this band canceled, will you come play?" And so the guitar player who basically manages this calls me, and he says, "Hey, what do you feel about playing a gig Friday night?" And that was like Monday. And
wow.
Like, what? Come on, my voice ain't there yet. And I was like, let's just, to hell with it, we'll just do it. And we just took off from there. And once we played that gig, I tell you, we could play every weekend. A couple times a week if we wanted to. I mean, the response has just been really good.
I love the videos, and I think the thing with you, Tommy, is I think you had this mental crutch on your back because you had the accident, and you kind of burnt your lungs, and you felt like your voice wasn't up to par. I just think you needed that push. I didn't make you a singer. That lesson didn't help you. Reading raised your voice. I mean, it helped you, but you were already there. I just gave you the roadmap to kind of get back on track again, and you just took off flying. You can't drive 55. You were just going as fast as you could, and I'm really, really proud of you.
Well, I think you say that I was singing before, but I think you're wrong there, because I think I was singing before, but I'm vocalizing more now. It's more like, there's a difference to me between a singer and a vocalist. There's a ton of singers, but only a lot. Very few vocalists. And I think like you're helping me become a vocalist, which is the next level. I mean, there's like minor league to major league. And without your lessons and the things you show me about my tongue, the different, the platysma exercises, and all those things, I mean, if you don't have those warm-ups, cool downs and stuff like that, you're just spinning your wheels. Because I know just from the little bit we've talked, I've started adding warm-ups, cool downs, doing those little exercises, and I mean, I can sing 2 nights all night, no problem. I'm tired today, but I've been working all day, so I'm a little, from talking to customers and stuff. But
no, dude, I'm there with you.
It's just great. It's just great.
when I flew to, I had to do a TV show in Japan. I left. This is Monday here. What is this? The 23rd. So I left a week, like 8 days ago on a Sunday. I flew there, slept Monday night, did the show all day Tuesday, flew back on Wednesday. Now I remember being on set, and the producer said, "How do you feel?" I said, "Well, my voice feels great." I said, "The rest of me, all this is freaking exhausted." But the fact is, the show must go on, and if you know how to breathe, support, and place correctly, you knock it out of the park. So a lot of people aren't in a band. You know, they're in their bedrooms, they're practicing, they're doing some karaoke. Can you tell them what it's like to be in a band? You know, what they can experience, how your experience is with your band and all.
Well, it's funny. I know for me, it's harder to sing by myself than it is with a band in front of a crowd. If I go into a bar and it's karaoke, I can't do it. It's night and day. I love the band because you feed off each other, you play off each other, you're playing off the crowd. It's just really hard to describe. I guess if you're an athlete, having that people yelling at you and just responding to what you're doing is just so much cooler than sitting in your bedroom singing to your computer or something. I mean, that's where you got to start with your voice and stuff, I guess. But once you get out in front of a crowd, you'll say, "Oh, screw that sitting at home stuff."
Yeah, you know what? What's so funny is I just interviewed a lady named Diane Pedibus. I always say it wrong. So she'll correct me, and she's got a band with her husband Gordy, and she said the exact same thing. She said it's so different. She's not crazy about karaoke, but they'll go out and do it. And she said it's a great way to get booked into clubs, because certain clubs, they book bands, but they also have karaoke night, so they'll go in and do some singing, and oh, you guys get the band and book. But yeah, it's something about the energy of being with a band and working with your guitarist, your keyboard player, your drummer, and then speaking to that audience, just standing on a stage singing one karaoke song with lyrics pop up on a screen beside you. It's night and day. It's completely different.
Yeah, well, yes. And what's cool too is, for me, I can be here singing and having trouble with something, and it seems like when I'm with my band and we're working on it, it's easier for me to find those little tricks and secrets of dropping. Oh, I wasn't dropping my tongue there. Whereas when I'm practicing here on it, for some reason I don't catch those things as easy. I can be looking in a mirror all day long, and go, it looks right, but when I feel it, when I'm doing it with the music live, it's a totally different feeling. I mean, it's hard to describe if they haven't ever been in that situation.
That's cool that you say that, but just so the singers know, you are still looking for those things at home when you're practicing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because a lot of singers are like, "Wow, just forget it, then I'll just do it when I'm practicing with my band." But no, you got to pay attention and use a mirror, like when you're doing your technique. Make sure there's no neck strain and stuff.
Oh, definitely.
But, yeah, I do the same thing when I've played out with bands, and I'm like, "Oh, that note's not floating as much. Ooh, well, I'm losing my placement. Need to bear down a little more." So, do you ever get stage fright?
Man, for the first few times, you can remember I emailed you and I was like, "Dude, I'm scared to death," and you were like, just do your crystal theory and your water and all that, and it's funny, like you said, just once you sing one line, it'll be over with, and it was. It's, you sing the first line and it all just melts away, and it's, hey, whatever happens, let's just roll with it. But back to what you were saying about practicing in your room, that's true, but it's more, to me, it's more like I'm watching my tongue here at my house, or I'm watching these muscles here to make sure I'm not straining. Whereas when I'm with a band, I'm more able to feel the air that's coming through me, the vibe of the room. It's just hard to describe. I know what you're saying, though. Here, I'm more critical of my technique, whereas there, it's more I'm just letting it go. Okay, this feels right. This doesn't.
Well, it's about the energy and the flow. I mean, when you're at home, let's be honest. When you're sitting at home practicing a song, sometimes it can be sterile, and you're like, oh, am I supporting? Is my tongue down? Is my neck? Am I doing this? Da 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 da. But when you get with the band and everything starts flowing, it's like you get in the zone, and then you'll mentally you'll feel your body, and you'll be like, okay, I just need to relax. You're not thinking about looking in a mirror and catching that stuff. It's just happening. It's becoming second nature, which what it is supposed to be.
Yeah, it's more like autopilot or something. Your body just, once you get those things right, it seems like your body just drops into those habits of doing the right thing.
Well, that's why I say, even at the end of Raise Your Voice, I say, don't kill me, but I want you to forget everything about this book. When you get on stage, I just want you to do your thing. Because if you take your time at home and practice, even though it's boring. You may not catch it, like you said. After you've done it for so many weeks or months or years, you get out there on stage and it all melts away. It all falls into place. It just becomes like as natural as breathing, which is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So what is your warm-up routine like now?
I do a lot of lip bubbles, and I've got this thing now. I don't know where I picked it up at, but I just do a lot of me, up and down, and
Okay.
me. Just really, it feels like it stretches me.
No,
I
that's
do a
fine.
lot.
I like the so.
I do a lot of the stretching the neck rolls, a lot of breath, deep breaths, trying to stretch everything out. The neck rolls. The biggest thing for me though is the lip bubbles. I feel this helped me the most to loosen up out of anything.
Well, you mentioned the crystal theory or the crystal voice phenomenon, which is
Yep,
what
yep.
happened to me on Good Morning America when I did them for so long, and all of a sudden it felt like my voice was just crystal. It was just effortless. Have you experienced that?
Yeah. One night, I guess it was probably about our fourth gig. Really, just it wasn't there. It wasn't happening, and we had 2 nights to do, which I hadn't done in 20 years. And so I did that crystal phenomenon that you're talking about by doing the lip bubbles just constantly all day long, and also did the straw in the water.
You know,
And both nights, no problem. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but I could tell if I wouldn't have done that, it would have been a bad couple nights.
yeah.
But
So I mean, it does work. I mean, it definitely
yes,
opens
it
you up and
does.
gets you there.
It
So
does.
as far as practice, like at the house, what are you practicing? Not your warm up, but your exercises, your songs. What is like your routine? And do you do it 5 days a week, every other day? I mean, how is your routine for practice, and what do you do?
What I normally do is we practice 1 night a week, then we gig 1 night a week. So that gives me 4 nights. The night before a show, I don't. But other than that, I'm running through our songs all the time at work, soft singing,
Okay, the tiny
and
singing. Yep.
tiny singing. It seems like all day long I'm singing with stuff like that. And then also just a lot of the tongue push-ups, stretches, the lip bubbles, and things like that when I'm not tiny singing. But tiny singing is probably the biggest out of everything that I do now.
Yeah, dude, it's amazing. That's what Diane was saying in the last interview, and of course I'll say the same thing I said then. That's what Labrie from Dream Theater does. So he does a lot of the acapella, like before the actual Dream Theater show, where he's singing everything really tiny to
Yeah,
kind of get that placement and the feeling, because you can take all that weight off your voice and sing very very tiny, not so much falsetto, but just like a tiny sound, to really open you up and get everything set straight. So definitely makes a difference.
yeah.
Uh, what are you doing to keep your voice healthy?
Well, I drink just pretty much water. I don't drink any alcohol. I don't smoke. Any When I get home from any gig or any type of smoke environment, I do the neti pot. I mean, this is stupid for me. I'm like you. I've got allergies, so if we got a gig coming up, I'm not mowing the grass, so it can just get a foot high.
Oh, dude, I did it right before I left for Japan. I got bad allergies, and even today I'm a little horsey. I think it's I don't know if it's candida or what. My throat's fine, but it's like right above my throat,
Yeah, mine's
and
just right here.
and I think it's just a phlegm, just the time of year. Plus, when you're on a freaking plane for 13, 14 hours each direction, it really dries you out. So you do got to drink a ton of water. But yeah,
Yeah.
so plenty of that neti pot. That's a good thing. Are
Yeah,
you
vitamins, supplements, stuff like that. Zinc, magnesium.
good?
And I talked to my doctor, and he actually recommended. I mean, I hate to say this, but Centrum Silver for men. I'm not that old yet, but he said that has a lot of the stuff that'll help me too, and it says has more of those things uh, for your immune system and things like that. And emergency, if I'm feeling down, I'll do some emergency all day long. And just really, I haven't had any problems since I've started being more active about taking care of my voice like that.
Oh, cool. Well, that's I did because I know you're in the academy. I did the vocal aid. I've been doing that all day long. Whereas for now, I'm a little froggy. A lot of the chlorophyll, a lot of the emergency. Actually, David Katz from Superior Vocal Health, his partner, got me to. He said you need to start doing oregano oil, which I know about, but that kills like any candida and bad things in your body as well. So there's tons of stuff we can do to keep ourselves in shape.
Yeah.
So I got to know, how did you actually? I like to always ask my students just, how did you find me? How did you find out about me?
I think I saw you online. I can't really remember. I want to say there was an ad online, And I'm one of them guys. I got to do some research in the back. And when it started talking about Dream Theater and things like that, it's like, oh, okay, now he, got my attention there. Because there's a lot of them guys that want you to sing like so and so, but that's all whatever. But once I got looking at the Raise Your Voice, I got your book. Shameless plug for the book. But, I've read it about 15 times, and I'm going to tell you what it is. I have in my office here, I'm looking at it, probably over $2,000 worth of singing vocal books.
Wow.
There you go, Benny. Benny's got it up. But, if there's a new one that comes out, I buy it. Like that Ultimate Singer Guide that just come out. Any of those books, I buy them. And I got in touch with what's the one overseas, the CSP or
Oh,
CSP.
yeah, CVS. Catherine Sadler, she actually sent that to me about 5 or 6 years ago.
Got all that kind of stuff. But out of all of them, maybe they work, not knocking anybody. But for me, this was the style of things that I sing. I think it just grabbed my attention more. I'm more of a metal singer, and I'm not saying it's for metal, but it's just it was more applied to that. It felt like to me for what I want to do. And it's just incredible the stuff that's in it. That's how it, it's silly that you say, most people say, well, one or two things aren't going to help you, but yeah, they do if it's applies to you and you actually try it. Some of the stuff in there just automatically you could tell a difference. Well, dang, I was doing that wrong all these years. It's something that simple.
Slight modifications.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And I'm very humbled that you like my book best. I really am. And it's so funny. I'm used to hearing all because it's for rock and metal. It doesn't bother me. I am a rock singer. I'm trained by Jim Gillette and Nitro, so I have that, and I've shattered glass with my voice. But really, and you can attest to this, Raise Your Voice really is. It's not even so much it's not a singing manual. It is a vocalist manual. It's a vocal strengthening manual because it doesn't matter if you sing country, pop, whatever you want to sing. And even though you're singing rock, you may be doing Journey, and then you're doing Europe, and then you're doing something else. Not that you're trying to mimic those singers, but there's kind of a little different setup. So all this technique works the same. It still applies to everything. Where there are a lot of methods out there where it's just pop. Or just a metal vibrato type thing, and I just wanted to, help everybody, whether you're an opera singer or a death metal singer or a Justin Bieber singer. We'll leave it at that.
Case in point, my daughter, my 16-year-old, is in actually a beauty pageant, Miss McAllister pageant this weekend, and her talent is going to be singing. So I've been using some of your things in there to teach her how to sing. And I mean, just little things I show her over a couple weeks of singing has just flipped her voice around.
How old is she?
She's 16.
Ah, okay, yeah, Ray. I was going to say I'd send you the Sing Out Loud books, but 16. Well, yeah, I can still do that. Just email me later.
Okay.
But the Sing Out Loud series is like Raise Your Voice. I wouldn't say watered down, but stripped down, so that anyone from 12 to 18, it's kind of the tween, the teen, the early kids, even 10-year-olds. That's more set up for them because it's almost like going to school with homework assignments and stuff. So if she's really into singing, she'd probably like that. So what kind of results have you had? Since I don't even remember when we did our lesson, Tommy, because
it's probably been a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Yeah, because I remember we talked.
We were talking about that. We were talking about that Outfield song.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's the one, that Your Love, and no problems now. I mean, it's funny. It's just like I said, just the little things that the modifications, the warm ups, the cool downs, the lip bowls, your placement of your tongue. You don't realize how critical that stuff is, how simple it sounds. It could just screw up everything you're doing if you're not holding your tongue right. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I mean, it makes all the difference in the world. So the Journey, the Europes, all that stuff is, even my band's been like, dang, man, you're on it tonight. You're on it tonight.
So how is that Outfield song now?
I think it's a lot better. I
don't remember, people are always on me about, well, you don't put out 50,000 singing videos like so-and-so. Dude, I sing when I have Labrie in an interview, and I think we kind of did a little. You have to correct me if I'm wrong, because I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we kind of sang back and forth a little bit on that.
Yeah,
to kind of help you get it. See, I'm not worried about impressing anybody, but when I have to sing to show you, we do it. Of course, I'm recording songs for the Academy now, to appease my Academy members. But I'm assuming in that lesson, if I did that, did that kind of help to lead you to say, oh yeah, I get how to sing that now?
Yeah, because it all goes back to you were showing me how it should sound with your tongue where it's supposed to be. I kept blocking off with my tongue was arching up in the back. And even now, I'm still working on it. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I can watch myself in the mirror instead of my tongue being like this. It's supposed to be U-shaped.
Yeah.
I can see that it's not totally U-shaped, but it's still cockeyed, but it's not like this now. It's coming down.
Yeah,
All
well,
these
that's
things
not
are
an easy
helping.
song either.
No, it's up there.
That's a freaking tough song. But another
It's up
thing
there.
too, and of course you know this from vocal stress release, is that
Oh
so
yeah.
you may have to do a little more work on that. And now that I just did that, like I told you, most practically, I think I must have a swollen taste bud. Yep, that feels like it's down the root. I probably had some bad sushi when I was over in Japan.
Oh man, I still got the notes right here. Here it is.
Oh, so those
300 300 uh, push up to 150 tongue push ups and you
Oh,
know
yeah.
falsetto slides, the 20 potato. Yeah, my throat was hurting for a while. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you probably hated me. I think I told you you probably cussed me after a day or so. But
Yeah, I was
those
cussing.
things do, because the way that I approach it isn't just about doing, of course I do the Jim Gillette scales, since I am the only one endorsed by him to do them. But I do my isolation, my sirens and stuff. But we do a lot of work where you're building muscle.
Yeah,
And of course, I use some of Jim Seitzer's stuff, which I'm allowed to use, the platysma pull-ups and stuff. And that guy's amazing. I mean, he really knows this stuff for developing the muscles around the voice. So all of that works into play. And the bullfrogs,
yeah.
strengthening the anti-constrictors and all that is really good. So you've been doing this. How are you feeling? You got more range? Is it cleaner? Tone sitting
Yeah,
there?
my upper range is way cleaner, way clearer. I mean, there's some high notes in the end of the Europe song that's up there. We just started doing Oh Sherry. There's a couple notes in there that are up there. I mean, it's pretty effortless.
Well,
Um,
Final Countdown's kind of tough. So when you sent me that video
yeah,
the other day, I was like, you made it sound like it was a low song. And I know you was in the key, but it just sound, another singer reminds me of that is like Johnny Gioeli, who sang for Hardline.
yeah,
And if he could sing, like Can't Find My Way was up to like tenor D, but he sang so effortless, it sounded like it was a lot lower till you try to sing it.
yeah.
Europe, same way. I mean, that's a tough song as well. And just hearing you sing it, it just sounded so easy to do.
Yeah, it's about where my voice, the natural, is. We're leaving. I mean, that's about where my pitch is. But it's when you have to get up in them really high notes, is where you find out is your vocal lessons working or not. And that's how I can really tell. In the beginning, in February, yeah, I could hit the notes, but you could just feel that strain,
Strange.
that strain. But now with the tongue down and all that, it's funny. Yeah, it's hard to hit those notes, but it's open. It's not a constriction in my neck anymore. Uh,
What,
it,
do you ever find yourself on stage doing the note to make sure that neck's not locked up?
oh yeah, there's a few of those. Nothing.
You're like,
I'm
I'm
going. No,
rocking
no,
out.
no, no. Yeah, he's rocking out up there. He don't have no hair, but he's getting with it.
Tommy, you're at a gig. Some singer comes up to you, someone who's watched your gig all night long, and they're like, dude, that was freaking amazing. And they say, can you give me any advice? I want to sing, effortless like you do. What advice would you give to someone like that who wants to learn how to sing?
Well, that's actually happened a couple times at this one place we played. There's a lot of musicians show up there, and a guy come up and he said, "Man, how do you sing that high? I can't sing that. I can't sing that high." And I said, I've just a lot of work. And I said, get online and look for Jaime Vendera. That's
Well,
exactly what I tell them.
I
And I had a
appreciate it.
guy when I was actually buying. I go to the Buckle and buy gig clothes, and I had a guy ask me. He says, how do you learn how to sing? Which same thing. I said, you got to find someone to help you so you don't hurt yourself. You're not going to go do a whole workout routine on your body, and I mean, you got to ask somebody to know how to do some of this stuff. I mean, yeah, some people are naturally gifted, but you really got to find a coach that can help you, point you the right direction. That's what I tell them. That's the easiest way is to look you up and get the book. Or I said he's a cool guy. Just even email him, and he will respond and tell you this is what you need to do. So that's the main things that I tell people.
Well, I appreciate it. I definitely do. I have some really good singers. I know that Miles Kennedy every once in a while tells people about me.
Yeah.
It's always nice. I'm always humbled by everybody who spreads the word. So I want to wrap this up, but I want to know, how can people hear you? Can you tell me your YouTube, your Facebook page, your website? How can they find Empire?
Well, if you go on Facebook, it's Empire Tulsa, and then the website is empirerockband.com.
Okay,
Uh,
so facebook.com/Empire Tulsa would be
yes,
for Facebook, or they go
yep,
to empirerockband.com. What about your
yes.
YouTube page?
YouTube, it's just Tommy Sherman on it. They can search
Okay.
that. It has some good stuff through the years I've done.
Okay, that's Tommy Sherman,
Yes,
Sherman.
that's
Well, that's
correct.
great, Tommy. I love this interview. Thank you so much. I talked to you for another hour, but we got another interview coming up here shortly. So I want to make sure I get to everyone and give them ample time. But dude, I love what you're doing. I'm so
No,
happy
man.
for you. I'm glad your voice is so much stronger. I can see your happiness in your face.
Dude, it's only
Uh,
going to get better because of you, man. I appreciate everything you do.
well, I
Uh,
appreciate you.
just keep putting out the good stuff.
I can't quit, man. It's always a new video, a new app, or a new book per year. But
Yep.
again, to sing your praises, man. I remember how nervous you were and worried, and I've seen you come a long way.
Well, I
And
appreciate it.
you could already sing, but I guess, like you said, you're becoming a vocalist now. You've been naturally singing for all these years. You kind of developed a little bit of habits, but you're getting rid of them. You're locking in, and you're singing 2 nights in a row, all night long, and you're strong at the end of the night. That's what it's about. So.
Well, it's just like that Europe song. That's the last song of the set, and it still sounded, everything can always be better, but it's just good because of sticking with your pointers and your lessons, man. I appreciate it very much.
Well, I appreciate it too, brother. Well, we're going to cut this interview off. It's
All
been
right, man.
another great interview. Again, guys, this is Tommy Sherman from Empire. He's one of my students. He's a Raise Your Voice user. And check him out at empirerockband.com, correct?
That's correct.
And facebook.com/Empire Tulsa.
That's
I'll
right.
see you guys later.
Thanks,
Peace.
Jamie. Thanks, Benny.